Liora Aelwyn lived for healing, her touch a balm, her presence a comfort. In the bustling heart of Eldoria, she tended to the wounded. She eased their pain. Liora knew only peace, her world filled with herbs and whispered prayers. But destiny, it seemed, had other plans. A darkness crept across the land, tainting her beloved city. It whispered of ancient evils and forgotten magic. Fear, a foreign sensation, coiled in her stomach. This was not her fight. She was a healer, not a warrior. Yet, a quiet voice echoed within. It spoke of courage, of duty, of a legacy she could no longer ignore. The world was changing, and Liora, whether she liked it or not, was changing with it. The darkness manifested in whispers. Strange occurrences plagued Eldoria. Crops withered. Children fell ill. The very air crackled with an unseen energy. Liora's once peaceful sanctuary overflowed with the afflicted. Their ailments defied her knowledge, their suffering her skills. Desperation gnawed at her. She felt powerless, a mere leaf tossed about in a growing storm. One night an ancient tome found its way to her. Its pages, filled with cryptic symbols and forgotten lore, spoke of a lineage she never knew. A lineage of warriors blessed with the power to combat the encroaching darkness. Liora was a descendant of these warriors, the last of her line. The book called to her, awakened something deep within. Fear remained, but now it was joined by a flicker of resolve. The darkness tightened its grip. It took on a new form, a shadowy entity known as Malkor. It fed on fear, grew stronger with every whimper, every desperate prayer. Malkor's influence seeped into the hearts of men, twisting them into his servants. They roamed the city, eyes glowing with an eerie light, their laughter devoid of warmth. Liora, armed with her newfound knowledge, began to fight back. She discovered her magic, not in the gentle hum of healing, but in the crackling energy of protection. She learned to wield it, to shield herself and others from Malkor's grasp. But she was still a healer at heart, her instincts geared towards mending, not battling. The city watched with bated breath as the healer took her first steps on the path of a warrior. The fight for Eldoria had begun. Liora couldn't fight this battle alone. The ancient tome spoke of allies, protectors who once stood against the darkness, warriors whose legends had faded into obscurity. She had to find them. Her search led her to the edges of Eldoria, to a hidden community of rogues and outcasts, a place where the forgotten thrived. Among them was Kalen, a master swordsman haunted by a tragic past, a man whose skills were unmatched but whose heart was burdened with sorrow, and Lyra, a cunning sorceress ostracized for her unorthodox magic, her powers both feared and misunderstood by many. They were wary of Liora, skeptical of her lineage, her sudden rise to power, and the destiny she claimed to carry. But they too felt the darkness closing in, a palpable threat that loomed over their world. They saw the flickering determination in Liora's eyes, the echo of their ancestors in her stance, a reflection of their own struggles. They agreed to help her, to teach her the ways of combat, the ancient techniques that had been passed down through generations, to prepare her for the trials ahead, the battles that would test her resolve and strength. Liora, the healer, found herself learning the deadly dance of the blade, mastering the movements that could save or end a life, the art of weaving offensive spells, channeling her energy into powerful incantations. She was no longer just mending wounds, she was preventing them, transforming into a warrior who could stand against the darkness. Section 5. Forged in Fire. The training was grueling. Kalen pushed Liora to her physical limits, honing her reflexes, teaching her to wield a sword with lethal grace. Lyra guided her magical development, unlocking the dormant power within. Liora trained under the watchful gaze of the ancient city, her fear replaced by a steely determination. She sparred with Kalen, her movements initially clumsy, gradually becoming fluid, instinctive. She practiced her spells with Lyra, the air crackling with raw energy. Each day brought new challenges, each challenge pushing Liora closer to her destiny. She bore the scars of her training with pride, each one a testament to her unwavering commitment. The healer was fading, replaced by a warrior forged in the fires of necessity and purpose. Section 6. Echoes of the Past. As Liora trained, she experienced vivid dreams, visions of her ancestors, warriors clad in shining armor, battling monstrous creatures. Their faces were etched with grim determination, their eyes reflecting the same fire that now burned within her. These visions were more than just dreams. They were echoes of the past, memories passed down through her bloodline. They showed her the true extent of Malkor's evil, the countless lives he had consumed. Liora learned of the ancient pact, the one her ancestors had made to imprison Malkor within the earth. a pact that had weakened over time, allowing the entity to seep back into the world. The weight of her lineage settled upon her shoulders. It was her destiny to face Malcor, to finish what her ancestors had started, and she would not fail them. Section 7. The Warrior's Resolve. With every passing day, Malcor's grip on Eldoria tightened. Buildings crumbled, consumed by a creeping darkness. The sky remained perpetually overcast, the sun a distant memory. Liora, now a capable warrior, led a small resistance. Kaelin and Lyra by her side, their initial skepticism replaced by respect and, dare she hope, friendship. They fought tirelessly, protecting the innocent, pushing back against the encroaching darkness. Word of their bravery spread, sparking a flicker of hope in the hearts of Eldoria's citizens. Liora became a symbol of defiance, her name whispered with a mix of fear and admiration. She was no longer the timid healer, but a beacon of strength, a warrior queen ready to defend her people. Section 8. Into the Abyss. The final battle was upon them. The ancient tome revealed the location of Malcor's lair, a desolate wasteland consumed by shadows. It was a one-way journey, a descent into the heart of darkness. Liora, Kaelin and Lyra stood at the edge of the abyss. The air hummed with malevolent energy. Fear, a familiar serpent, coiled in Leora's stomach, but she would not let it cripple her. She looked at her companions, their faces grim but resolute. They had become her family, her strength. Together they would face whatever awaited them. With a shared nod, they descended into the abyss, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. The fate of Eldoria, the fate of the world, rested on their shoulders. Section 9. A beacon of hope. The journey through the abyss was fraught with peril. They battled monstrous creatures, their flesh twisted by Malcor's power. Each victory chipped away at Leora's fear, replaced by a cold, unwavering focus. She fought with the fury of a cornered animal, her movements honed to perfection. She wielded her magic with precision, her spells crackling with righteous fury. She was no longer protecting just herself, but her companions, her city, her world. Through it all, Liora held onto the image of Eldoria bathed in sunlight, her people free from fear. It was this image, this beacon of hope that fueled her, that kept her going when all seemed lost. They finally reached Malcor's lair, a cavern pulsating with dark energy. The air crackled with anticipation, the silence before a storm. Section 10. The Price of Victory. Malcor materialized before them, a swirling vortex of shadows and rage, his presence a harbinger of doom. He taunted Liora, preying on her fears, her doubts, his words like venom seeping into her soul. He reminded her of her past, of her life as a healer, as if to mock the warrior she had become, belittling her transformation. He attacked with relentless fury, his power threatening to consume them all, leaving no room for mercy. Kaelin and Lyra fought valiantly, their skills pushed to the limit, their determination unwavering. But Malcor was too strong, his dark energy overwhelming their defenses. One by one they fell, their bodies broken, their spirits crushed, the battlefield a graveyard of shattered dreams. Liora watched in horror as her friends, her family were struck down, their cries echoing in her ears. Grief threatened to overwhelm her, to extinguish the last embers of her hope, her heart heavy with sorrow. But then she saw it. A flicker of light amidst the darkness, a faint echo of life, a glimmer of hope. Her friends were alive, barely clinging to existence, their breaths shallow but present. She had to end this, for them, for Eldoria, for everything they had fought for. Liora gathered her remaining strength, her eyes blazing with a cold fire, her resolve unbreakable. "This ends now," she whispered, her voice laced with power, her determination unyielding. Section 11. A New Dawn. The final battle was a blur of light and darkness, a chaotic dance of opposing forces. Liora fought with the fury of a Valkyrie, her every movement infused with the strength and determination of her ancestors. She channeled her magic, her grief, her rage, unleashing a wave of pure, unbridled energy that crackled through the air. Malcor roared in pain, his form flickering like a dying flame, his hold on the world weakening with every passing second. Liora pressed her attack relentlessly, driving him back, forcing him into the heart of his own corrupted power, a place of his own making. With a final ear-splitting shriek, Malcor was vanquished, his essence scattered to the winds, dissolving into nothingness. The darkness that had cloaked Eldoria for so long lifted, replaced by the warm golden glow of dawn. Liora collapsed, her body battered and bruised, her spirit drained from the immense effort. She had won, but at a terrible cost, a cost that weighed heavily on her heart. Kaelin and Liora survived, their bodies bearing the scars of the battle, their spirits forever marked by the harrowing encounter. Liora, the healer-turned-warrior, had saved her world from impending doom, but the experience had changed her profoundly. She was no longer the naive healer she once was, but a hardened warrior, forever marked by the darkness she had faced and conquered. Yet amidst the grief and the pain there was a glimmer of hope, the hope of a new dawn, of a world free from Malkor's shadow, a world reborn. A world Liora Aelwyn had fought tirelessly to protect, a world she had saved, leaving behind a legacy of courage and resilience.